The vidya. We got a vidya coming. Hey guys, Gary here. Thanks for checking in today. I'm with a special guest, John from UW Gear Alpha Charlie Concepts. Got the shirt and everything.
That's right. Guerrilla marketing.
Are those shirts for sale?
I might have some for sale.
Interesting.
Maybe
a link in the description box or something. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't have UW Gear to talk with you today, unfortunately. That's all right. I hear the orders are currently still awaiting being opened.
Not yet, but we're getting there.
They're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
So I got some Alpha Charlie concepts
Ooh.
to discuss. So you have a channel. Obviously, you have more viewers than I do, so I'll put the link down there, but chances are that people watching me already know about you anyhow.
Probably.
But on your videos, you have a variety of topics that end up on your channel. One of the ones that I find are interesting that you and a couple of other folks do that you're friends with, you all have this theme that I enjoy is, as a gear maker, you see a lot of new camo patterns coming out, and you've done videos as new things come out where you go out in the woods, different types of woods and different distances, and show the effectiveness of patterns. And that's, I think, pretty cool information to watch. And what I want to know is if you think of, I'll call it the transitional space, but really like an all-purpose space. Now, discount like white sands of a desert or Arctic, the general brown and green you get in the big middle chunk of America. What do you feel is what is the most effective do-all pattern for camo and gear, and why is it U.S. Forces?
Well, we're establishing a couple of narratives there that might not fit with the context of the parameters, because we've narrowed that down to a little box. But if I was to pick something that hypothetically might not be U.S. Forces,
yeah, we'll go with second best then. Something obtainable.
Therein lies the problem. Things have changed so much on that market in the past 10 years, 10, 12 years. One that I found that unfortunately never got the due justice on camera, because we all know camera limitations. Yeah, there are limits there. But to the naked eye, and I'm going to throw a buddy of mine in with this too. So my good friend Brent0331 has done a lot of the same thing. And he and I had a lot of conversations about this topic. And one that he and I both agree on, that to the actual Mark I Mod O eyeball in the real world was actually the original ATAX FG. Now,
I've seen in Return of the Jedi.
I was just fixing to go there with that. A lot of people have talked about that. They like to throw that out and, you know, sometimes make a little fun of it or whatnot.
Hell, it looked good in that movie.
No complaints there. But it actually did a really good job of kind of getting a little bit of a chameleon effect, depending on how much shadow you had versus how much sunlight you had coming through the foliage, how much overhead canopy you had, et cetera, et cetera. The greens and browns and tans in it really kind of altered depending on what was around it. So like if you were in a really brown, piney area, you would start to see more of the browns come out. If you got in the shadows, the darker greens would come in. When sunlight started coming through, the blotchy sunlight on the terrain, the tans in it started looking like that same blotchiness. So that was actually a really good pattern, and it was taken off pretty good right when ATAX decided to drop the original AU and FG and switch to the X line. And sadly, I don't think it's really going to be much of a viable option anymore, just because it's not really available anymore. There's no material to be had unless you get, you can get, overseas made fake material.
Right.
but legit good stuff, be it for clothing, gear, whatever. That's why my sets of original FG that I've got them packed away, stored away so that nothing gets to them, because I actually still like it.
Well, now that we have an embargo from the country that has control of that pattern.
Yep. We can't get much from over there, because whether y'all know it or not, the Russians have got the original FG now and have had it for quite some time. The other good thing about that pattern was you didn't always have to have FG specific gear for it to work well. It actually worked almost equally well if you were using OD gear, Ranger Green gear, Coyote gear. I've got some early training video of me and a buddy wearing our FG with some Coyote gear, and it actually worked really awesome, really well. So that's probably one of the physically, visually most effective patterns that I've played with. And Brent has said the same thing. I know that's one of his personal favorites. That, again, I don't care how good the camera is and anything, it's always going to be slightly different than the naked eye. And the naked eye, that stuff actually worked pretty doggone good.
So now we already established that somebody watching this that doesn't already have some, going to be very difficult for them to go get some.
Yes.
So then the question would be, all right, if you had to pick
available
of things you can go get, whether it be on the surplus market or the new gear market, if you're going to pick, what would you pick, and why is it AOR2?
Well, now we're back to that availability thing again.
It's on the surplus market galore.
It is. However,
as long as you want pants that somebody else's crotch has been in, you can get them.
That, and you need to have had a very rich uncle die and leave you a nice inheritance, or a winning lottery ticket.
Yep, agreed. Okay, so now let's go down another level.
Affordable, available, and useful.
I got to pick today. I'm going to go buy a chest rig. I'm going to buy some a top and a bottom. What am I getting?
Depending on your area, it's a tie. And let me preface this. My personal favorite is still M81 Woodland. I use it. I love it, both because it works in my area and I've got a little bit of nostalgia with it. That's what I was originally issued way back in the olden days.
Same.
That said, and Woodland is it's on the top of that list. But if you are brand new, just getting started, it's a two-way tie between either solid Ranger Green or solid Coyote. Depending on your area, because those two can be so versatile in so many different ways, even as a standalone or just getting it dirty. Because once it gets dirty, it kind of starts self-adapting to the environment that you're using it in. And both
kind of get some ATAX modeling going on.
It does, exactly. And if you're in a really heavily wooded area, you might want to go more Ranger Green. If your canopy isn't quite as thick as like in the deep south, maybe more Coyote Brown. Now, the Coyote Brown thing, there's a caveat with that, because I can already hear the keyboards clicking, because I get it all the time when I talk about it. Why do you want to wear a desert pattern in the woods? Okay, first off, it's not a desert pattern. There's nothing anywhere that dictates any particular color is unique to the desert, okay? Number two, Coyote Brown, if you look really closely at every white-tailed deer or mule deer in the continental United States, you'll find that they are almost a dead ringer match for Coyote Brown.
Well, you know what else is? Coyotes.
Coyotes too. And if you've ever been out hunting, you will know that if a brown deer is standing perfectly still in the woods, there's a 90+% chance you will not see him. It's only the movement. Well, movement's always going to be the thing that gives you away, more so than the pattern or the color. So, but yeah, Ranger Green, because Ranger Green and Coyote they work, they're effective. You can get both very readily available new stuff, surplus stuff. It's all out there at decent prices. You've got plenty of companies that are making clothing and gear and everything else in the patterns. And if you want to make it your own, a can of Krylon spray paint and a couple of stripy passes on it, and you can self-camo the crap out of it. I've got a set of Coyote ones in there. I did that to myself.
Perfect.
So those would be my two, again, because of availability, affordability,
well, there you go,
and effectiveness.
We settled the debate once and for all. For those of you out there watching, go get yourself some U.S. Forces gear. If you're not well connected, get some AR2.
If you're not rich.
If you're poor, you have other options. Good old Woodland is great. Ranger Green, Coyote Brown. End of debate. Enough said. I stole that from Cousin Dick. Everything's a vidya.